Well, hi guys, Saturday morning, it's 8 a.m. in Warsaw, Poland. I just wanted to vlog a really quick mini vlog which I think actually encapsulates everything that you need to know about approaching girls, most importantly about dealing with rejection, dealing with the winter blues, if you're feeling a slump, if you've got a little bit of a history that you're kind of like grinding an axe internally about. This is the antidote. This is extraordinary, and I wanted to capture it now just after I've made an approach. So I come in early to vlog. I've just been editing a video, the previous one that I've just uploaded, and I went up for a cortado, and I turned around and there I saw, sat down with a big large latte and a sandwich, a very attractive girl in a black top, wearing a kind of a bright golden, not necklace, something that goes, sort of a choker that goes around her neck, looking, you know, pretty stunning. And I was like, whoa. Now look, here's the thing about daytime approach. If you see an opportunity, you have got to take it. You're not going to take it 10 times out of 10, but you know, if you're taking an opportunity like this 4 or 5 times out of 10, just as you're going about your normal day-to-day life, I tell you what, it can absolutely flip your mood around 180 degrees. And as I say, this is such a good illustration, like almost in real time, of both the kind of the daytime approach model at a micro level, and also the idea of daytime approach as therapy, if you like. Yeah. So just by way of a little bit of a background, I have had a bit of a bluesy period. I had a fantastic dating sequence with a Russian girl, a 29-year-old Russian girl. 3 terrific dates. I'd set up a trip to a foreign city. The 2 of us were going to meet there for a weekend away, and she was absolutely on and up for it, and I made a misstep. I'll talk about it in a future vlog because I think it's a very important learning curve. And you know, never was the saying, one definition of success is moving from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Never was that so important than in this situation with this Russian girl. Now here's the thing, we all get into a bit of a slump. What's the cure? Yeah, is it therapy? Is it talking to mates down the pub over a pint? Is it meditation? No, it's none of those things. Strangely, the cure for most problems is to approach, is to get back on the horse. So this is really interesting because I wandered out for a fag and with my cortado, having clocked this girl, and I was like, she was so attractive, I was like, feeling nervous, as you always do. It's healthy that you feel nervous. And I went out, but I didn't approach her immediately. And I think this is what comes with more experience, is that you don't feel you have to just jump in there. When you're a beginner, it's important to jump in. When you get more experienced, you can take your time and consider what it is you're going to say. So I did. I ran through my mind what it was as I was going to say. First thing that popped into my head was, all right, she is looking, you know, proper dolled up, 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So the line is, have you just finished a long night? Are you just about to begin a long day or go to a wedding, or is this just your normal 8 a.m. Saturday look? So that was the rump, if you like, of the approach that I was about to make. I then thought, well, I'm going to throw in a time constraint, and I'm glad I didn't approach her immediately, because if I'd approached her immediately, I'd have probably just gone in there, and I probably stayed stood up. She was on a low chair, which is not a good approach for a girl in a coffee shop. You have to get down to her level. And also I said, no, I also need to throw in a time constraint at the beginning of this. So I'm going to say to her, look, I can see you're just having your breakfast. Can I just say something quickly? Time constraints, great. The girl knows you're not going to be, there until the next ice age, yeah, which will make her nervous. So, and I also thought I'm going to stay in the conversation. What guys can often do when they've had a kind of a lean, a dry period, and they want to get back on the bicycle, is they'll just make an approach, and then they'll be so happy that they've made an approach, and they're out of there. No, I said I'm going to stay in. So I went back inside, and I ran it, as it were. And just as I've described, and she bubbled into life, a big smile broke across her face. It turned out, in fact, she was a dancer, and she's from Kazakhstan. She's moved to Poland a bunch of years ago. And here's the other really important tip. There was a moment after the initial fun, and I'd made this gag about her normal Saturday morning look, when I hooked into storytelling. Because she asked me, because it was going so well quite early on, she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Can't you guess from my beautiful British accent?" Ha ha ha. And then she followed up, "Well, how long have you been in Poland and why are you here?" That really opened the door to tell the story. And I told the story of why it was that I'd come to Poland. You're on safe ground with storytelling. You're showing the girl yourself. You know what the story is. You're taking your time. And so I said, well, I came over for a bit of an adventure 6 years ago. I now live here. I had a Spanish girlfriend. We stayed good friends after the relationship had finished, and we were in a pub in London Bridge, looked for her reactions. She seemed interested. And she said exasperation, because I was being a bit umming and ahhing, throw in a bit of, show yourself a bit. I was umming and ahhing about whether to go on this adventure and change countries, and she got out her phone and she booked me a flight there and then to Warsaw, like putting a pin in a map, and here I am. And then there was a bunch of questions, and then there was the lovely conversation. Here's the interesting thing. It's going well, yeah, and then you begin to feel, well, what's next? Here's a really good tip. Take a hand and introduce yourself. I took her hand, I introduced myself, and hold her hand for as long as she'll allow you to hold it. And if she allows you to hold it, as this girl did, she was really floppy actually, and then just gradually withdraw your hand. Then we had a little conversation. The attraction, I hope, had been cemented. I then remembered to put in a tease and a challenge. This is very important. Once you've mastered the model, once you know the model, you don't need to put it in a kind of like a robotic order. You can remember, oh yeah, I haven't teased and challenged, and you may be 7 minutes into the conversation. And she'd been gesturing a lot with her hands about something to do with her life, and I said, you've got these crazy gestures, it's quite funny. You're like a magician doing tricks in the air. She went, and waved her hands around some more. Then I remembered, of course, what's the most important thing? Close strong. I then said, well, look, it's been fun talking to you. I'll let you get back to your breakfast, because obviously she really needed it after a night in a club. Let's exchange contact details, and I'll send you a text. Have a good day. And as I left, she was staring at me. She was obviously really interested and keen. Who knows where it will go? A dancer, at a club, but that isn't the point. The point is, I came away feeling I'd had the injection, the antidote to the pain and the discomfort that I've been feeling from a failure, yeah, there never are really failures, of the Russian girl. Daytime approach, as the famous, infamous, legendary maverick Tom Torero himself said, day game is therapy.